Yo, what's up, everybody? Holy Moses. Okay, I smoked some of my changa. Chimichanga. Oh, fucking lovely stuff. Oh, had such a beautiful experience. And, I decided to be a madman. I very impulsively did a rip of DMT freebase off of the One Hit Wonder cart. And this is the second time I've done this. It's weird. I almost do it like intuitively now after coming out of changa. And, of course, please, don't do this yourself because I think it does drain your brain of a lot of serotonin, to follow up one with the other. But with that being said, I wanted to do it with the MAOI still in my body. And, it's very interesting in a myriad of ways, but I'm going to tease you with that because I've only done it twice now, and even though both of those experiences make for entire videos, I want to experiment further with this before I make a video on it. So instead, what I'm going to do is feed the crows, and I'm going to review some cigarettes that I got. These are Kool Boost Fresh. So they're like menthols with like the gel, the click things inside them, from Japan. And then I got some Marlboro Menthols, full strength from the States. And I got some Marlboro 83s? Yeah, 83s. That's right. Now, just to give some basic facts, or actually before I even do that, I'm going to say, as a caveat, just if you're not a smoker already, don't start. It's an incredible waste of money, and, it doesn't really get you high. I mean, admittedly, these Marlboros, they fucking pack a punch, I'll give you that. Like, they have a lot of nicotine. I think they have just about more nicotine than any other cigarette that's out there. I think I got a cracking pack of my fucking 83s. Now, the only difference between the 83s and regular Marlboro Reds, from what I could tell, is that the 83s are a little bit lighter, and that they seem a little more aromatic. Like, I remember Marlboro Reds, I know people, especially cigarette reviewers and stuff like that on YouTube, or cigarette reviewers who were on YouTube at some point, fucking laud Marlboro Reds. They can't get enough of those fucking things. And I think I know why. It's because they have such a insanely high amount of nicotine in them. Here, I'll Google it right now. And by the way, the Marlboro Menthols I've got are the full strength because, the light stuff is worse for you. That's why I got the 83s, because there's only let's see. Oh my god, it smells amazing. Seems like a little bit more of an eclectic blend than your standard Marlboro Red, but there's a very tiny row of perforations around them, and I didn't want to completely punish my lungs, so but the thing is, if I smoke, say, an extra light cigarette, or an ultralight, whatever, they've changed the names for them over the years. It's so weird, fucking, in my country now. They're the ultralights are called deluxe, or it varies from brand to brand. It's just needlessly fucking convoluted, but it's supposed to be so the children don't know what to get when they try to get someone to boot smokes for them, which is just when you're a kid, if you can get someone to boot smokes for you, you just get whatever the fuck you can. And why would a kid want light cigarettes? I mean, when I started smoking as a kid, I didn't like light cigarettes. I wanted the fucking full flavored stuff. I wanted the full strength stuff. And, well, I don't have the best lungs in the world, and not just because I'm a heavy fucking smoker of very, very strong pot medicaments, you know, fucking changa, lots of fucking cigarettes, so on and so forth, and from a very young age, you know, 11 years old. Oh, I forgot my steak bites. I'm giving the crows. They're not bites, they're just bones, but they'll love that shit. Yeah, so, like, basically what, like, light cigarettes are, just perforated filters. So they're drawing in oxygen with the smoke, and that thin, wispy smoke, like, you have to pull it really deep down into your lungs. So it's actually, like, in a kind of sadly ironic twist, worse for you, because you've got to inhale deeper. So I tried to stick with full flavors, even if even when I had COVID, I was smoking, like, I got shit with, like, charcoal filters, so it was, like, a little bit cleaner, and it felt a little easier on my lungs, but, like, otherwise was still, you know, I shouldn't have been smoking when I had fucking COVID. I couldn't even taste the cigarettes, but I needed my fucking nicotine. Now, the Marlboros I have right now are, like, they're way, way fucking stronger than Canadian regulations will allow. I neglected to do that Google search because I just want to fucking get out there and feed the crows, because I don't have all fucking day. I got to go to class and shit. But if memory serves, it said 10 to 14 milligrams of nicotine per cigarette. That's insane. That is absolutely fucking insane. Like, and I love it. Thank you, Marlboro. Now, for perspective, the Kools that I showed you, those Japanese ones, they have 0.5 of a milligram of nicotine per cigarette. So yeah, big difference, big fucking difference. That's part of why I got the Kools, because Japan, their cigarettes have fairly low levels of tar and nicotine, so I was thinking I'd, like, wean myself off the amount of nicotine that I'm getting from the Marlboros with the Kools. I mean, if that sounds like a stupid idea, it's probably because it is, but hey, whatever, you know. Smoking cigarettes is stupid anyways, but hey, here we go. Now, I'm gonna follow the whole formula of people like Nick the Smoker and fucking, other people whose names I can't remember. I know, I don't really watch cigarette reviews anymore, but, yeah, let's see. Like, the tobacco, you can tell there's a nice blend. Seems like it's predominantly Virginia, maybe a little bit of Burley, maybe a tiny bit of Turkish. As if my memory serves, Marlboro Reds are mainly just Virginia with, like, a little bit of Burley in them. And Virginia tobacco is, like, for the most part, it's just, like, it's become nauseating to me because every fucking cigarette brand in Canada, except for Winston's, is just Virginia. And the Winstons we have here are, like, they're just Virginia with a tiny bit of Burley, so you can taste, like, a little bit of spiciness. But, like, it's still different than, like, the international Winstons, or the ones they have in the States. It's still preferable to other cigarettes, but they're like $25 a fucking pack, so, yeah, that price just, yeah, kind of a, you know, makes me die on the inside a little bit, but hey, we're all gonna die in the end anyways, right? Yeah, like, the first time I tried, like, actual Marlboro Reds, because we never really had the real ones in Canada. We had ones that were close to the real ones a while ago, but yeah, as I said, our government has banned anything that doesn't taste like cancerous, like, chemical steeped Virginia tobacco. So like they'll like very like indiscriminately just market like Camels at like premium prices here. And Camels are supposed to be like, I think like 60% like Turkish tobacco, and Turkish tobacco tastes sweet. It kind of tastes like caramel to me, but not like that sweet. It's not like eating fucking candy or anything. It's not something that I think would appeal to children. But you can't make your own decisions when you're a fucking adult in this country. It's like, Jesus, you already have to be fucking, it's 18 in Canada, I know it's like 19 in the States, but it's 18 here. I just, like, the store up the street from my old house as a kid, it would just sell smokes to me, so I never really had a problem with that, but, come on, girls. Don't get some grub, don't get some grub. There they are. What's up, buddies? What's up, buddies? Yeah, there's my homies. I love crows. I honestly, like, this is gonna sound very misanthropic of me, and I am a misanthrope, so, you know, that shouldn't be, like, uncharacteristic, but, like, I'm really starting to enjoy the company of crows, like, more than people. I know, that makes me sound like a fucking, like crazy old cat lady. But, I mean, like, I remember when old dudes would, like, feed pigeons, and it was, like, super endearing, and, like, you know, whatever happened to that? You don't see it very often anymore. I see it every now and then when I worked in the park, fucking selling weed and shit, but, you know, it's pretty rare. Mostly just see people fucking smoking meth. But anyways, I'm smoking the Marlboro 83 first. Oh, don't fight, you little fuckers. Don't. There's enough for everyone. Oh, they're fucking fighting over that steak bone. Be nice, okay? Fuck. Yeah, I'm smoking the Marlboro 83 first. Oh, hey, buddy. Come on. He's coming right up there. Look at him. Look at him go. Don't flinch. It's just food. Here, I'll give him a little more. Sorry if I keep breaking my train of thought. It's kind of an art coaxing crows into your good books. They're very cagey. It took me a while to get these guys to even like swoop down and get the food until like I left. Like now, see, look how far away they are from me. You know, we're chilling. I think we're on good terms. We're on good terms, right, crows? I think so. Anyways, yeah, I'm smoking this one first because, you know, I think the menthol ones will dampen the flavor of just the full flavor tobacco. Or, well, as I said, this is like a mellow, it's supposed to be a slightly mellow version of a Marlboro Red. And allegedly, like, I thought they were supposed to be 100s. Like, I thought they were supposed to have more tobacco in them. I don't know if that's technically true, that 100s actually do have more tobacco in them. Like, we can't even buy 100s in Canada anymore. It's fucking stupid. It's also stupid. But, yeah, just the red tape around fucking cigarettes and the way we've, like, completely... And I don't want to say we because I am not at all in favor of the Canadian government and most of their decisions. You know, not that I'm at all neglecting that I am lucky to be born in this country. Like, I remember wanting to, like as a kid, I wished I was born in the States, and now I'm like, oh, thank fuck I wasn't. Thank fuck I wasn't. But, I mean, like any country that is run by a government, yeah, there's problems. There's problems, you know. Where there's people, there's problems. The shaman, you can quote me on that. Where there's people, there's problems. But yeah, so I thought these were supposed to have more tobacco than a Marlboro Red, I remember Marlboro Reds burned a little faster than these, so maybe it's kind of like an American Spirit, where they like, it's not obviously not organic tobacco like an American Spirit, because you can smoke these back to back no problem. If you do that with American Spirits, you'll fucking puke, like even me, and like I am nicotine, man, fuck. I could probably smoke a fucking deck and top up a couple Phlegm Gems, and that would be it. And that's not a boast, that's a bad thing. That is a testament to the fucking absolute punishment I have put my lungs through for the last fucking 17 years now. Yeah, feast away, little guys, feast away. Yeah, like Marlboro Reds were the first of the American smokes I tried. Because I went to San Francisco when I was 15, which was pretty fucking cool. I got to go to Haight-Ashbury, and this is when I was like full-on fucking tripper, like wearing fucking like trippy sweaters and shit, and you know, like paisley, fucking, oh my god. I must have looked like such a fucking buffoon. But I remember actually like convincing some kids I met there, and by kids I meant like they're like maybe like 2 years older than me, so you know, like 17ish, to do acid. I bought a bubbler there, and then we went over to my dad's friend's place, and like he's got this, or well, formerly he died in an airplane crash, unfortunately. He was a madman. I fucking loved that dude. He was like the uncle I wish I had. He would come out and fucking smoke weed with us and make dirty jokes, and he was always banging fucking chicks like half his age. But anyways, when I was in San Francisco, I was like, fuck, I need some cigarettes. So I was by the what do they call it? The like, not meat district, that would be a little too on the nose, but it's something like that, like something, it's some term that's like similar to like a butcher or whatever, like, you know, that kind of lexicon, and it's like where like all the hardcore drug addicts kind of hang out in San Francisco. And I didn't know that at the time. Luckily I didn't get to know that, because I just hung out there for a bit, long enough to find like this Rasta dude who was just banging away on a steel drum, and I was like, yo dude, fucking, can you go in and buy me some smokes? And he was like, yeah man, sure. And so I was like, okay, I'll give you $10 and bring me a pack, because I was like, you know, thinking, well, you know, in Canada a premium pack at that time cost at least $10, about $12. Now it's 25. That's an insane jump in 13 years. 12 to 13 years, because I was almost 16. But anyways, he came out and he had 3 packs, and one of the packs had a coupon for another one, and I was like, yo, do you have any money left? And he showed me like $3 and change, and I was like, you sure you don't want a couple extra bucks for like some smokes? And he was like, well, I'll take a couple smokes if you're offering. And so I was like, okay, cool. But yeah, that was a good time. I got to fucking with my dad's friend's nephew. My dad's friend is the guy who I wish was like my fucking uncle. I got to smoke weed that his nephew was growing in their vineyard. They had this massive vineyard. I remember I got to rip around on a little fucking dirt bike, and I was listening to Venetian snares, and I got way too into it, and I wiped out. I almost burned a hole through my fucking knee, because the engine came right down on top of my pants. It burned a hole through my pants, and it burned my knee a little bit, but I got out from under it pretty quickly. Luckily the damage was only like I bent the mirror a little bit. But yeah, I remember like being kind of sick of the Marlboro Reds after like I was halfway through the second pack. Now these, on the other hand, they've got a broader taste for sure. And just anything where you can actually taste like the tobacco and not just chemicals is like, and this is deliberately going to sound ridiculous, a breath of fresh air. It really is. This is some tasty tobacco. Like personally, you know, I'm more of a fan of like Winston's or Dunhills, like the International Dunhills. Those are fucking amazing. Like I was after every fucking puff I was going, and like they were like, I remember they were fucking like stacked like American spirits with tobacco. So I made the mistake of like you know, taking the pack and like spanking it a couple times with the first one, so they burned a lot slower. But yeah, anyways, like I noticed with that Marlboro 83, there's even like a little hint of kind of cherry that I noticed with excuse me. I know, that's it. Sorry guys. I can't feed you all my cat's food, or my cat will be pretty pissed with me. Yeah, I always, like, when I'd go to Seattle or whatever, I would fucking just splurge on smokes. I was like a fucking kid in a candy shop, dude. Yeah, good times. Oh no, did I leave my fucking, I left one of my packs at home. Shit. Okay, well, bear with me. Fuck. Yeah, so, you know what, during the interim, while I am doing this, I will tell you a little bit about, yeah, I'm gonna do sort of an episodic series, or maybe just all in one video, but, the last 2 times where I've done the DMT and like right after coming out of changa, like a full-on changa breakthrough. And it's interesting, I never noticed this before with changa, but like I find if I do it every day, I get a little bit of a tolerance now, like very minimal. It must be to the MAOI, because you know, DMT is like, you know, the tolerance goes away after about an hour. Usually, like, if you're basing like DMT, you want to wait an hour before you do it again. Ideally, you would do it and then spend a day processing what the fuck you just experienced, and then you would do some more. But you know, there are days where I would fucking be just doing DMT all day with fucking friends or whatever. Like the first time where I did what I just described, I noticed I had a little bit of a tolerance from doing changa the day before, so I instead of the typical 55 milligrams, which I know that's fucking nothing. That's like nothing when it comes to herbs. Like, I'm not talking like 55 milligrams of freebase DMT. I'm talking 55 milligrams of infused herbs would be enough to facilitate a breakthrough out of a bong if I used a torch and held it in as long as I could. I built a little bit of a tolerance, so I went up to like 70. Did it, and it's interesting with this particular batch especially, and to a lesser extent the batch I made like way back when I did the best changa on the block video. This one, it's like every trip is kind of like a continuation of the last ones I've had. It's very interesting, the continuity in that. Like, I tend to encounter the same entities, and it's usually like a doctor looking dude who's to the side, and he's kind of going like just kind of like just magically conjuring crazy things into existence. Okay, here's my Kools. Here's my fucking, I'm gonna give myself nicotine poisoning, I swear. Not me, I am the nicotine, haha. But yeah, so, yeah, I usually see a doctor. Last time I did it, there was, where the doctor was, and the doctor would glow green. The dude was glowing green, and he was to the right of my vision for most of the trip. Like, this dude said, this dude was kind of like round in like the same sense as, you remember the fat kid in Charlie the Chocolate Factory? Yeah, like that. Not saying he's fat, he's just round. It's interesting. But yeah, I'd usually at the end of all the crazy shit going on and the little dudes in bowler hats fucking flying by me and all these crazy structures before, like Charlie in the Chocolate Factory, I'd break through what felt like a ceiling, and the ceiling like made out of gems and like dark purple hues and stuff like that. I would come down and I would see this red woman, and I would get to kind of embrace with her and the other entities before, you know, it would start to wear off. Now, for whatever reason, the second last time I did it, I was like, I wonder if I was to take the fucking breakthrough, pull off the cart right now, what would happen? And oh boy, that was something else, man. Like, it was, the most fascinating thing, I think, was how different it was from the Chinese trips I was having. It was still DMT. It didn't really lessen the intensity of it at all. It just made it longer. Like, I felt like I was ripped apart on a molecular level. And all these very dark red entities that I see very commonly with these DMT carts. It's interesting, the continuity when it comes to the entities and the content. Yeah, all these dark red entities that were like very sharp in terms of like the patterns and sort of forms that they would appear in, compared to the changa, which was, and I'm starting with, by the way, a Kool. What I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna light it, take a couple puffs, and then I'm gonna crack the little fucking gel thing in here. Just glass of menthol. I find with these things, you kind of taste the menthol anyways. If you don't crack the fucking little click thing, you taste it for the first few puffs, and then when you crack it, like, you get a really strong fucking menthol blast. It's funny because I used to hate menthols until they were illegal. It's funny how that works. Maybe, just maybe, part of the appeal behind kids doing drugs, vaping, smoking, whatever the case may be, drinking, is that you're not supposed to. It's a no-no. It's bad to do that. And so, of course, they do it. Because it's like, you know, it's like, it's a symbolic form of like rebellion or whatever. That's why I started smoking cigarettes. Because I was like, this is a massive high school. Everyone here is a cliquey asshole. Fuck them. And I went out with the kids in the back, just cracked the little thing, by the way. And asked them for a smoke because I didn't recognize any of them, and it turned out a couple of them I went to elementary school with for like a year or so, and I became good friends with them. But that was like my icebreaker. And yeah, no, smoking cigarettes actually like chilled me the fuck out. It's interesting. I don't at all make the claim that you'll get the same results. I had very bad ADHD as a kid. I still have very bad ADD, but that's not obvious as fuck. But like, I used to be bouncing off the walls. Like, they were like trying to fucking put me on so much Ritalin, and I would like constantly toss it away. But then I started smoking cigarettes and weed, and I like chilled the fuck out. Still concentration issues, but the hyperactivity part went away. I've said this, I've noted that before in videos, but I just find it very interesting. This is really nice. One thing I like about menthols is, especially with the benzo taper really affecting my sleep and giving me horrible fucking sleep apnea. Like I wake up and I'm like drowning in phlegm and my muscles hurt and I gotta get up and move a little bit, and so I'll usually go out and I'll have smoke, and if it's a menthol, it just like clears my fucking sinuses and my lungs out, and I just and just fucking hork all that shit up. Yeah, I mean, for this being something with relatively low tar and nicotine, it's pretty strong, I must say. Very tasty, very, very tasty. Like one thing I can't stand out of mint flavors more than any of the other varieties is spearmint. Now I think this was like trying to go for spearmint, but luckily it doesn't taste like spearmint. It's got like kind of hints of like apple and like yeah, like it's got that menthol effect of like making your tongue feel a little tingly and your throat feel a little tingly for a second. But other than that, it's you don't taste it too much, which is nice, because as I said, otherwise I'm not a fan of menthols. Yeah, it's some good shit. But back to the DMT. Again, I'm just teasing this. I'm not telling you guys in full, and like I couldn't even tell you in full because it's just so much, and so especially the DMT part, so fast. But like with the first one, yeah, like where the red entities came in, like they were fucking like, you know, like the MAOI, it altered the body high. So like while I did feel like I was getting ripped to shreds, there was a slight sense of euphoria with it. Whereas with just straight DMT freebase, I've never really gotten euphoria. It's just some batches are smoother rides than others. Typically the orange and yellow batches I find are like intense, but like not very pleasant when it comes to physical sensations. You know, with the pure batches and stuff that I use, the white stuff, like what's in the cart, which is easily twice as strong as the purest DMT I've ever tried, which is why I think you only need like 55 milligrams of changa to fucking break through. Despite me only using half a gram with 300 milligrams of freebase Harmala in a batch, actually 2 batches, that now I've got like 3 grams of fucking herb left. So, you know, do the math, like 50 milligrams, you know, 60 milligrams, you know, divided by fucking 300, like, you know, I got a lot of fucking doses. But changa, like, one of the nice things about it, and I don't compare it to DMT, I try to describe it as smokable ayahuasca or mushrooms 2.0, because I feel it has more in common with that than like DMT freebase. It feels like a very short, like heroic dose mushroom trip. But yeah, when I did the DMT, man, that was fucking next level shit. Like the MAOI made the breakthrough. Like it slowed the visuals down like a little bit, but it was still like fast, like bam, 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 bam. And you know, I got the kind of poking, prodding sensations that you get on DMT freebase, which, you know, can be like relatively unpleasant sometimes. It doesn't bother me too much. But some people will be like, oh, I felt like something was drilling through my head, and I've had that sensation, but like I wouldn't say it's that dramatic. It's more like kind of feeling like someone's putting pressure on your head. The last time I did the DMT, well, I mean, like less than an hour ago, I felt like the entity pinched my fucking leg, and it startled the shit out of me. Like I nearly jumped out of my skin. This is when I was starting to come back into my body. But yeah, like the visuals are so fucking crazy, dude. Like these red entities were like fucking morphing into these massive rooms, and these massive rooms would have gears and cogs, and the gears and cogs would come out spinning, and they would fucking like create these like whirlpool type effects that would like I could only imagine it's like the event horizon of a black hole, where it's just like all the light and shit is like fucking just refracting through these whirlpool type things, and like giving glimpses into these other like realities projected in hyperspace. But as I said, I'm just teasing those experiences. I want to make at least like one full video describing them, but I want to do this one more time before I do a full video on that. Now, just finished the Kool. They're fairly fast burning, these guys, but it's really nice. Like I'm left with a very like fresh aftertaste, like you know, I can taste shit more because my sinuses are kind of cleared out a little bit from the menthol, and my sinuses have been so clogged from sleep apnea. Now what I'm going with next, this is the Marlboro fucking like it's basically a Marlboro Red just with a menthol mentholated filter, not a click or anything like that, just, you know, there's menthol flavoring in the filter. And just, you know, like for those of you who don't know, and this may sound like, well, duh, to a lot of people, especially smokers, but it took me a while to figure this out. The menthol isn't in the tobacco itself, or it isn't in this part of the cigarette, it's in the filter. Like when you draw the smoke through the filter, it essentially infuses the flavor with menthol. Now, as I said, full strength, so like there's like, I don't even see any perforations on the filter. Let me hold up to the light a little bit. There might be like the tiniest perforation at the top of the filter, but even with full flavors, that's common. But as I said, this is 0.5. The Kool's 0.5 milligrams nicotine per cigarette. 10 to 15 milligrams per cigarette with these guys. Interestingly enough, the menthol in this, it doesn't taste quite as strong as the Kool's. Maybe that's because I don't pop the gel thing until I take at least a couple puffs. So it's like saving a lot of that menthol intensity for like the last, like, you know, 3/4, half of the cigarette, as opposed to it, you know, being expended throughout the entire cigarette. So maybe that's why it tastes a little more intense. But like this is definitely heavier on the lungs, but since it doesn't have perforations on it, it doesn't bother my lungs as much. Oh, hey Crow, what's up? See, they even come up here to visit me. I love it. I love it. I love having crows as fucking homies. Got my own murder. Jeez, that would sound really bad out of context. I got my perfect murder. But yeah, definitely. Like if I smoke one of these when I wake up in the morning, I get, like, if I sleep through the night, which is very rare, and I don't have any cigarettes throughout the night, because as I said, if I gotta wake up and like do this fucking like walking around for a little bit and shaking my arms out so it feels like I'm breaking the like rigor mortis out of my body. I don't know if that's like just the benzo withdrawal or whether it's like my body not getting enough oxygen from the sleep apnea. I don't know, it's hard to say. But it's fucking painful as fuck. And so I'll usually have a fucking smoke and go back to sleep. But if I have one of these, like, fucking, I get a head rush, and I almost never get head rushes now. because I'm a pretty fucking heavy cigarette smoker. So definitely like denser fucking clouds coming off of this. But oddly, it's like it doesn't feel super abrasive on the lungs. I know it's definitely not good for my lungs. But like here's the thing. With me, like part of the reason why I stopped vaping was because I noticed that it was really pissing off the scar tissue I developed in my right lung from having pneumonia back when COVID started, which was fucking awful. Like I got spore-based pneumonia and it settled in my right lung, and like x-rays still show that I've got scar tissue there. So my theory on that is the lighter cigarettes, the ones with the extra perforations on the filters, it makes it so because those perforations are allowing oxygen to be drawn in with the smoke when you take a puff, hence why it's lighter, and you have to pull it deeper in your lungs. I think that pulling it deeper into your lungs part is what makes it so offensive to my lungs, you know. But like these guys are like pretty good because they're just barely a light cigarette. So I don't notice like my lungs hurting or anything after I smoke them. But like when I vape and shit now, like because I guess the vapor is less dense than smoke, it hurts that scar tissue, and it's like really right at the base of my right lung. So that means like the whatever I'm inhaling is so thin that I have to pull it down really deep. And this even applies to like DMT carts and shit. Like, but DMT has a very interesting effect on the lungs. I've noticed. It seems to kind of clean my lungs out. Like mainly with if I like perfectly freebase DMT, or I hit like a very well made cart, like the one I've got now, where I only need to take one puff. I just like when I come out of it, I just go and just like cough all the shit out of my lungs. I remember someone said in one of my videos in the comment section that I think it was the I have COVID video, that DMT like kills like a fuckload of bacteria in your lungs, and I could totally see that. I don't know how true that is. I haven't looked into it, so you know, don't quote me on that. I'm just quoting someone else in my YouTube comments. But yeah, I'm getting to the end of this, and yeah, safe to say, like there's a lot of nicotine in my system right now. A lot. So I'm really satisfied after this. After this, I am going to do a fucking workout, and I am, yeah, gonna play some guitar, do some singing, fucking go to school. Even though I'm like so disillusioned with fucking school right now that, yeah, I mean, whatever. I'm not gonna fucking bitch too much about that. But last puff. Tasty. Yeah. I like with both the Kools and the Marlboros. They've got like very strong menthol, but you can still taste the tobacco. Because that was my problem with like the menthol brands that used to be in Canada, was you couldn't taste the tobacco at all. It was just menthol. It was just like straight fucking menthol. But yeah, overall, I can't say I have a favorite because they're all good in their own ways, their own respective ways. Like these are good when I want a lighter one, or I want to have a couple fucking darts back to back. The Marlboros are definitely not as easy to chain smoke. Like, if you weren't a smoker, you didn't have a nicotine tolerance, and you smoked 2 of them, I'm sure you'd probably puke. Because, you know, like when you start to get that head rush and you start to feel nauseous, that's the onset of nicotine poisoning. Like, nicotine is actually like very toxic, but in the doses allotted within cigarettes and vapes and stuff like that, it's not really like enough to be considered toxic for a human, but they're used in pesticides and stuff like that, because nicotine in high concentrations is very toxic. I remember it being a leading theory for a while as to the whole colony collapse disorder with bees. The mystery behind why all these bees are just dying in like massive numbers. And they were thinking for a while it was nicotine-based pesticides were getting stuck to their wings when they would try to, do their thing, glean the pollen from the flowers. And the nicotine, it would essentially scramble their inner magnetic navigation system. Like, it's fascinating. Bees and birds both have this, where they navigate based on magnetic fields, and so essentially they couldn't find their way back to the colony, and the theory was that's why they're dying off. I believe other theories have come out since then that suggest other things, but that seems pretty probable to me. Now, please don't fucking misconstrue my words, and because I'm not trying to say I'm anti-GMO, anti-Monsanto and stuff like that. Yeah, Monsanto's a corporation. They've been a corporation for a long time. Yeah, they made napalm shit was it napalm? I know they made Agent Orange for the U.S. military in Vietnam, which, for those of you who do know, is horrible. It was meant as a way to kill off crops, and in doing so, they were gonna starve the fucking Viet Cong. I don't think it was very effective, but it had a very, carcinogenic effect on the people who were farming those areas, and the kids were born with defects and shit like that, genetic defects from Agent Orange. I remember one dude was he looked like one giant scab. So yeah, and I get why people see Monsanto as fucking evil, but GMOs are not evil in my opinion, and I think GMOs are actually necessary to sustain our population. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I hate the fact that our population is so grossly bloated that we need to modify crops so heavily to make them resistant to just about anything, so people can eat. I mean, even though a lot of it goes to the meat industry, but I mean, in any case, genetically modifying things it's not something new under the sun. Just because we're doing it in labs now, doesn't mean it hasn't been something that's selectively happened. We've selectively bred plants, crops for a long time, and that is, in essence, genetic modification. Now we just have a bit of a better read on it, and we have the technology to do it. So yeah, I'm not anti-GMO, but what I am is skeptical of things that could be harmful to wildlife and natural habitats. I really criticize modern farming because they're farming a lot of the life out of the soil and turning it into essentially dirt. And agrarian farming didn't really seem to learn from the Dust Bowl. If you ever read John Steinbeck, Grapes of Wrath, East of Eden is one of my favorite books, by the way. The Dust Bowl was it was a catastrophe. It was fucking awful. It displaced so many families. It really was a big part of the Great Depression, and I think it's probably the next great global crisis we'll see, because I've heard legitimate scientists. I can't think of any off the top of my head, sorry, I'm not a fucking walking memory bank of sources, but I remember some scientists saying that we have to really change how we're farming, or there will be decibels, and they'll be a lot more devastating now that farming is done on a much wider scale than it was back in the 20s when we had our first decibel. But yeah, like, just to illustrate why GMOs are not as evil as you may think they'll be, there's this one lady, I can't remember her name, something Shiva something. It's like a Indian lady activist, and she got the Sri Lankan government, who was like, the Sri Lanka was going through a terrible recession of their own, and she convinced them to start farming organically, and they essentially had a famine, and a lot of people died. And this bitch, yeah, you heard me, this bitch, fuck her. No, fuck people who like are responsible for the deaths of like thousands of people. I'd like at least thousands of people. I don't know how many in Sri Lanka. I don't think they've even given us an accurate number, but it is a lot of people that died because of starvation. And it really, like if their economy was sinking before it, it fucking tanked after this bitch's fucking proposal. And the worst part is, to this day, she's going on like Russell Brand and shit like that, which, by the way, Russell Brand, fuck you, dude. Fucking, like, cult leader in the fucking making. Think you're so fucking spiritually enlightened, and like, claim to be this fucking socialist, but, like, you laud right-wing fucking pundits like borderline neo-Nazis more than anyone else. Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. And you give this bitch a platform after she should be fucking tried and prosecuted by the UN or something like that, or like Interpol. But no, she's going around the planet saying other governments should do this. Like, bitch, please. Lots of people died because of your stupid advice. Fuck off, Anyways. Yeah. So, overall, I find myself smoking menthols more than I smoke, like, the regular Marlboros now. Like, I prefer, a regular, and by regular, this isn't a Marlboro Red, as I said, it's 83, which is very similar. I prefer them with, like, a coffee. To a menthol, even though these menthols are actually pretty good with coffee. They don't clash with the flavor too much. And for those of you who are smokers, you know that like a coffee and a cigarette is like, meh. Like one of the hardest things to break when you quit smoking are the habits you form, the associations. And for a long time, the hardest part for me was cigarettes and coffee. Then I started smoking weed again, and for me it was lighting a smoke right after I had a joint, which is something I do fairly ritualistically. And nicotine itself is a stimulant. It's not physically addictive. It's actually not, despite what you may see on packs where it's like it's more addictive than heroin. Yes, there are fewer people that quit nicotine than people who do heroin, which is like pretty staggering, and it speaks to how insanely psychologically addictive cigarettes are. Vapes too, just nicotine in general. I see it less with stuff like snus because it's a lot less ritualistic and behavior based, to just stick a little pouch of nicotine salt into your lip. You're not doing shit like that. Like, those psychological fixations are what really get the hooks in you when it comes to nicotine, in my opinion anyways. Will you be irritable if you quit smoking? Yes. You'll also be irritable if you quit doing meth. But meth otherwise isn't physically addictive. It might be today because probably a lot of it has fentanyl analogs in it, but that's a whole different thing. Fentanyl is physically addictive. Stimulants, they'll give you like hardcore hangovers and rebound effects, which is kind of why you get irritable and agitated if you stop smoking cigarettes or you're coming down from coke or meth or whatever. you know, it makes you want to keep doing it so you don't have to deal with that crash, that rebounding effect of, you know, whatever was being calmed no longer being calm and coming back, you know, fucking full tilt, like, yeah, tenfold fucking worse than it was before. I wouldn't say it's like when it comes to say if I was to compare it to another psychologically addictive drug like ketamine, which gives me relief from chronic pain. When I was doing it every day for like years, and I would stop, I would get the rebounding effect of chronic pain, and it like honestly wasn't that much worse for me than THC. I'm just speaking for me, as I only can, fairly. Everyone's different, so everyone reacts differently. But, you know, the consensus is that stimulants aren't physically addictive. Like yesterday, I didn't do dexedrine, and I wasn't going through withdrawal. I did the modafinil, because I usually would find myself lethargic as hell on those days. But, you know, I was fine. I was fine. You know, so the modafinil combated the lethargy, which is nice because I could still function a little bit. You know, I just wasn't super tired. But yeah, I mean, in any case, I've gone on for long enough, so I'll end it here. And yeah, stay tuned because I think I want to do one more of the changa followed by DMT trips, and then I'll start making videos on that, at least a video. It's just, you know, with those experiences, it's kind of hard to know like where to start and where to end, because it's like you have two very powerful experiences that are back to back, two experiences that are so like full of hyperbolic imagery and like intense sensory stimuli that you can really only retain so much of the experience. And again, I don't urge anyone else to try this. If you want to try something like that, maybe try taking some Syrian rue and smoking some DMT. You know, I'm kind of compelled to try that now because I've got a fuckload of Syrian rue that I've really done nothing with. Because it is very interesting. It does modify the DMT high a little bit, but I'm just kind of going off of the residual MAOI from the changa I just came down from, so it's not going at like full strength, but so like it's, as I said, it does make the DMT trip like twice as long. It makes the physical sensations like a little less unpleasant, and it slows things down maybe like a tad, like so like minimal that it's like barely even noticeable. But you know, after you're like 15 minutes into your breakthrough, you're like, oh fuck, we're still here. Oh gee, this is a lot. And yeah, I mean, I do feel like, you know, I'm kind of like in a bit of a headache, so I do think like I did dump a lot of serotonin out by doing that. But I also, you know, I haven't had anything to eat yet, and I need to drink some water, so that's also, you know, a potential factor in why I have a little bit of a headache right now. And migraines are not uncommon for me at all, but it's still like DMT is like you know, a fucking huge serotonin dump, and also, you know, MAOI is mixed with serotonergics can be potentially dangerous. And like, because I know exactly how much Harmola I've used, and like I know that like each dose isn't going to be different in terms of just the potency from the last, because like I make my batches, so it's like everything's very evenly distributed. I feel relatively comfortable doing that, but I'm kind of keen to like try some rue and hit DMT just on and off during the day. I think that'd be interesting. Anyways, I'm gonna cut this short before it goes on for an hour. But yeah, hey, if you got some free time and you got some crows in the neighborhood, go feed them some scraps or whatever. You know, I fed them some scraps from steak I ate last night, and some cat food. They love that shit, man. And it's like seriously like a great way of recycling. Don't feed them shit. Don't feed them like terrible fucking like McDonald's or whatever. But you know, I just think it's a nice thing to do. You know, to be a part of the fauna. And I don't know if fauna is just plants. Maybe I'm misusing that word. Feel free to point it out if I am. But you know, the wildlife in your urban area, if you happen to live in an urban area. I mean, crows typically tend to be in rural areas as well. Sometimes ravens will be in rural areas instead of crows. I mean, it really depends on where you live, but because ravens will, you know, just like beat the ever-living fuck out of crows, which is, you know, kind of interesting, interesting dynamic. But yeah, anyways, I've got some shit to do, so yeah, I'm gonna fucking park it here, and yeah, wish you all well. Stay wavy, gravies. Stay wavy, fucking gravy babies. Fuck, I hate when people use the term baby, like, as like, a term of endearment, when it comes to like a sexual relationship. I don't know, it just weirds me out. Like, I had exes who would call me babe, and so I'd like reluctantly call them babe back, but, I mean, baby. Just, I don't know, it rubs me the wrong way a little bit. Anyway, stay fresh, stay fly, keep it real out there. But you, I'm talking to you. Stay sly, stay slick, and stay tuned, because the shaman's got some stuff coming down the tube. Alright, bye-bye.